Just when a franchise finally gets its footing again, life finds a way. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom tells the story of our characters returning from the original Jurassic World to rescue the dinosaurs from an erupting volcano on Isla Nublar, only for the true motivations of the military and the people with the money behind this operation to come through and fuck everything up. Well guys, the newest Jurassic Park film is finally upon us, and just for a little backstory for me and my fandom with this franchise, although the first original Jurassic Park movie, as landmark of a movie as that is, never was a movie that I would put like in my top 10 of all time, I've always loved the original. Growing up, especially as a kid when that movie first came out, I remember having a Raptor backpack, loved it, loved the T-Rex, I had some of the video games and everything like that. And I've enjoyed every single sequel of this movie. Even the one like Jurassic Park 3 that everybody considers to be garbage, I could still watch and enjoy that movie. And Jurassic World, for me, was the closest to getting back to the magic of that original movie. It was a nice little blend of having, you know, the ridiculous popcorn fun that you go to a blockbuster movie in the middle of the summer to see, but also capturing as much magic as possible without having Steven Spielberg behind the movie of that original film. So I was a fan of Jurassic World. Have not disliked any Jurassic Park movie until now. So I know you guys saw spoilers in the title of this video, but have no fear, like I put, it's going to be after the rating, okay? So everything that I have to say until I give my rating for this film is spoiler free. You're totally good. If you have not seen the movie yet, watch until the rating, then cut it off, go see the movie for yourself if you decide to after my rating. Everything after that is going to be stuff that I could not review this film without discussing, because there's some things that I have a huge issue with in Fallen Kingdom that I need to get it off my chest. But starting off with the positives. At the end of the day, this is still a schlocky summer blockbuster movie with dinosaurs, and that has its own value and entertainment in and of itself. So if you go, you're going to enjoy this movie if you just want to see, you know, monsters taking apart humans, you want to see some Jurassic Park shit, you want to see dinosaurs fighting each other, all that stuff is here. So if you go for just that lowest common denominator form of entertainment from the Jurassic Park movies, like most of the sequels have given, you're going to be entertained on that level. CGI-wise and effects-wise, I still think that the dinosaurs look very good. They look very good in Jurassic World. Still not as impressive or magical with what they were able to do in the original Jurassic Park, obviously, especially for the time, but it's not distracting CGI, it's not bad CGI. They look very good. They're effective. And one element of this film that, you know, at least part of the way through the movie I appreciated is that this kind of goes back into a little bit more darker territory. You know, this is probably the darkest of the Jurassic Park movies. It goes into a little bit of more horror and thriller elements and not so much just slam bang action like most of Jurassic World was. So if you're somebody like me who's a big horror fan, you like kind of the darker elements, you like seeing, you know, the dinosaurs coming out of the shadows and eating people and stuff like that. There's a little bit more in this film than there has been in the past few, so that's a positive. Everything else about this movie, guys, to me is a negative. Okay, just starting with the characters, even the ones carried over from Jurassic World. Now, I love Chris Pratt, but Chris Pratt needs to play a character at some point in his career that is not just Chris Pratt in a movie. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand he has to play the character of Owen exactly the same way that he played him for the most part in Jurassic World, and that's the way that they should have done it. You shouldn't change the character for that. But Owen is about as much Chris Pratt as Star-Lord is Chris Pratt, as is his character in The Magnificent Seven is Chris Pratt. So Chris Pratt, I love you to death, wish you all the success in the world, and I think you're definitely capable of getting there, but now that you've got this superstardom, you gotta do something different besides just the snarky, smart-ass Chris Pratt guy in Jurassic Park.
If I don't make it back, remember, you're the one who made me come here. I'll be all right.
And yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard, she's a little bit more interesting in this movie than she was in the first one because she take off all of that, you know, blind businesswoman bullshit that she had in her character for the first third of Jurassic World. But they still don't really utilize her that much. You still don't buy into the romance or the broken romance, if you will, between her and Chris Pratt. You don't even really care where that goes. And ultimately, she's just another body on the screen that you just recognize from a previous movie. And moving on from the two leads, basically every other single character in this movie, with the exception of one intern that we don't get enough of, and we don't get enough of her by herself without the rest of the annoying characters, every other character besides those two leads goes from either dull, like a character that we've seen dozens of times in this franchise before and done better, all the way to one of the most annoying fucking characters that I have ever seen in a film. Definitely the most annoying character in this franchise. Even the villains are dull and cookie cutter. You got this business guy who is slimy as fuck from the time that he goes onto the screen to the point where you wonder how nobody else in this world realizes that that motherfucker's a bad guy. And he's the same type of corporate business guy, bad guy that we've seen in this franchise a dozen times and done better. You get the chest-pounding, idiotic military guy played by Ted Levine. And Ted Levine, love you to death. Nothing but respect to you, Buffalo Bill, but your character sucked.
Who do you fuck with?
Nah, I'll pass. But I wouldn't mind seeing the T-Rex like hold you down with those little arms and fuck you because your character was terrible. Even our villain in the dinosaur world is like this new hybrid mutant dinosaur that was created in a lab that's basically a less interesting, less threatening, and less impressive version of the Indominus Rex in Jurassic World. Now instead of it being modeled after a T-Rex, it's modeled after a raptor. And to me, the execution of that is just not that great because I was never intimidated or threatened or amazed about this Indoraptor like I was in some of the aspects of the Indominus Rex and how smart it was. It was basically like the sharks in Deep Blue Sea. This, not so much.
They're gonna sell them.
Not blue. They need it for something else.
What is that thing? They made it.
This is the most dangerous creature that ever walked the earth.
And even going alongside the positive that I gave it with kind of going more in the darker territory, there's a lot of just movie-making tricks that they use in this that they use over and over and over again. They use this style of shot to where there's a dinosaur somewhere behind the characters and they're unaware of it, and there's like a lightning flash or a gunfire or a drip of magma comes down and just lights up behind them for a split second so you can see the dinosaur coming just a little bit closer each little time that the flash comes. They do it like 3 or 4 times in the movie, and by the time you get to the second time, you're like, this does not create tension because you've already done this in the first 5 minutes of the film. And beyond the execution of individual characters, just the writing and the execution of the mass of characters, like the military force that is going to try to take these dinosaurs. They are the dumbest fucking people ever. There is a scene in this movie where this barge is pulling away from this island while the volcano is erupting and decimating everything that has all the dinosaurs, all the bad guys, all the military dudes, and your heroes in this story are following down this dock in this goddamn SUV, and it just jumps over the ravine like the bus on Speed where the front of the truck magically goes upwards, land on this barge loud as fuck. And when the military guys come out to check out what's going on, nobody sees the truck. They just see this dinosaur that's left on the island like, oh, damn, that's sad. What about the fucking truck full of people that are definitely not in your bad guy crew? What about them? There's even a scene when they're trying to draw blood from the Tyrannosaurus Rex that is tranquilized and put in this little cage with his little tiny arms and his big fat head stuck where he can barely even move. And he wakes up, starts unleashing hell, scratching metal, screaming, doing the T-Rex roar. Roar. And there's fucking all kinds of crazy noise going on. The characters escape the cage and nobody in this barge comes to check out what the fuck is going on. Not even the guy that came by to lock the door 5 seconds prior. I mean, this shit is not entertaining. It's laughably bad when you see it. It's so nonsensical to the point where you cannot suspend your disbelief that much. But the overarching negative with this movie, the thing that they fucked up the most, the thing that cripples everything around it is the horrible writing of Fallen Kingdom. From the initial story setup, to the dialogue, to the character choices, to the direction that they're taking this franchise after this film that they clearly set up in the last 10 minutes or so, it is all bad. This movie really feels like one of those stepping stone movies where they have a somewhat interesting idea of where they want to get in the future in this franchise, but they have to have one of these little bullshit stepping stone movies that's half-assed left and right to get us from point A to point C. And for step B, what they decided to do when you have what I would call a genius setup for Jurassic World, taking all of the whole concept of having this theme park of dinosaurs and planting it in 2015 when everybody can't stay off their cell phone and people are so easily, moving on to what's next, what's bigger, what's better. Just the concept of seeing a park with this giant megalodon biting something out of a fucking helicopter and a kid's just kind of halfway ignoring it because he's checking his Facebook, that concept in my mind is genius. We can argue back and forth about the execution, but the setup for the original Jurassic World movie, to me, was a very smart direction to go to bring this into modern age and to revitalize the franchise. When you get into Fallen Kingdom, their choice for story direction is, now that we've gotten Jurassic World back on its feet, let's take this into an animal rights activist thing, and let's see how that would play out in modern times. No! Don't get me wrong, people. I love animals. I'm all for animal rights and animal life preservation and all that kind of shit. I mean, hell, I have a dog. My dog I love like he's one of my kids. But they take it so far in this movie to the point where the animal rights, dinosaur rights bullshit is clearly going to get in the way of human life preservation that from the beginning of this movie, I could not get behind the storyline. I couldn't even get behind the motivations of our main characters. And beyond that, how many fucking times do the characters in this franchise have to be fooled by military people and the motherfuckers with the money until they realize that whatever mission they say you are going to be going on is not the mission you're fucking going on. You're going for something completely different that's gonna fuck you in the end, and they're gonna reap all the benefits.
Hey, Blue. You know me. Come with me. You know you can't stay here. Pack your men up right now.
And they even go a step farther with kind of commenting on human nature and where things will go by trying to, explore some other ramifications of messing around with DNA and cloning and everything like that. By trying to do this plot twist in the movie, which I'm not going to talk about until after the spoilers, but it was so laughably executed to the point where as soon as they started heading in that direction, I saw it coming 100 miles away. I was like, it can't be that easy, can it? Oh, it can. Wow. And ultimately, even through to the final act of this movie and where it actually ends and leaves off for the next movie, which again, I'm not going to talk about in detail until after the rating, but I will just say this. The decisions that are made and the direction that it heads genuinely pissed me off because it is so ridiculously stupid and nonsensical to the point where I don't care how cool where they're heading might be, how you got there is fucking retarded. And I'm not going to look past that. I never thought I would get so rant-worthy about a Jurassic Park film in my life, but wow, this one really got me there. So I don't have much else to say that doesn't involve spoilers, guys, so I guess I'll just go ahead and go on to the rating. Obviously, I'm not a fan of this movie. I think it is a gigantic step down from Jurassic World, which even as much as I really enjoy that movie, was a gigantic step down from the original Jurassic Park. So that tells you where this one lands in comparison to that original classic Steven Spielberg film. This one is just, at the very base level, if you want to go just to see some summer blockbuster bullshit with dinosaurs attacking each other and attacking humans, okay, you'll get some entertainment value from that. If you're looking for anything else, look elsewhere. So as far as Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom, I'm going to have to recommend that you either watch one of the previous movies in this franchise or just wait for wherever they're going to go in the next movie and read a plot synopsis on Wikipedia for what happened in this middle chapter, because not a whole lot here that's worth your time or your money. So unfortunately, gonna have to tell you to skip it. Alright guys, you've been warned. From this point forward, it is all spoilers. So if you've seen the movie, or if you don't care about spoilers, continue to watch. If even after my rating you still want to check out this movie and don't want to have the plot ruined for you, turn the video off, go see the movie, come back, and then pick up from here and find out more detail about why this movie pissed me off so much. But everybody else, let's get going. So we'll start small, which is one of the more idiotic parts of this movie, honestly, is the whole thing with this girl being revealed to be a clone. Not only does that just feel like it doesn't really belong in a Jurassic Park movie, but if you're gonna go that direction, at least go there, you know what I mean? This movie just dips its toe in it and just says, oh, that's an interesting idea, but we're gonna go back to this other shit. If you're gonna go there and talk about human cloning and the ramifications for that and, some other playing God-like scenarios that can be in this Jurassic World, then go there. Explore that in the movie. Don't just dip your toe in it and tell me, we might be exploring that later on. Stick around to find out. And the way they executed the twist was ridiculous, because as soon as, they keep doing this thing with her grandfather where he keeps pushing this photo back into his book and she keeps pulling it out and he pushes it back in, like there's some kind of a secret there that he doesn't want her to find out. So automatically, if you've seen any film at all in your entire life, as soon as that picture gets pushed back in for the first time, you're waiting for some kind of reveal. Either her parent is going to be somebody previous in the franchise, like a little aha moment, or there's some kind of a plot twist involving who this little girl is. So you're not surprised at all whenever it finally shows the picture, and it's a picture of her with the maid about 30 to 40 years younger. Automatically, if you have half a brain in your skull, you're like, oh, so that was their daughter, the daughter died, now she's a clone, and she's not really his granddaughter, even though he doesn't really seem to be that loving towards her because he just tells her to, be quiet, go back to bed, you're fine. There's no monsters in the basement. The fact that they let that linger for like another half hour in the movie for this ultimate expositionary speech by the mustache twirling villain about, aha, you're gonna side with that little girl? Well, she's a clone, I tell you, a clone. I know, motherfucker, I figured that shit out in the second act. Where have you been? But ultimately, the thing that I want to talk about in my spoiler section is the ending of this movie and where it went as far as the whole, do Jurassic World dinosaurs deserve to live, or should they be decimated by this volcano? First of all, immediately at the beginning of this movie, despite the fact that I'm all about animal rights, some of these, the one scene where you see the Brachiosaurus die is tragic, it's sad as fuck, everything like that. As soon as Jeff Goldblum uttered those words about, just let the volcano wipe it out and it's a fresh slate, it gets rid of our mistake and it saves us from further mistakes. Yes, that is exactly what you should do. Obviously that doesn't lend itself to the plot of a movie, but goddamn it, yes. In Goldblum we trust, motherfucker.
These creatures were here before us. And if we're not careful, they're gonna be here after. Welcome to Jurassic World.
So when you get to that final scene of the movie, whenever they've let all these dinosaurs loose, which are only about 24 dinosaurs at most, and they have them in front of this hangar door and they're starting to die, and Bryce Dallas Howard's trying to decide whether or not to push the button to let them free or to let them die and erase their mistake forever and just be done with all of this Jurassic fucking drama. She can't do it. She goes to Chris Pratt. He seems relieved because obviously I think he felt the same way. And then you get the dumb little clone bitch that comes up and presses the button. I had to let them live because they're alive, like me. Yeah, you know who else is alive, you stupid twat? The hundreds of human beings that you just put in fucking danger by opening that goddamn door. Babies, children, women, and grown-ass men that go about their daily lives are now going to be fucking dinosaur shit because you decided to let them go and you put dinosaur animal rights above human rights. Fuck that. Team people, bitch. So it got to the point where I was just so angry at the direction that they were going just for their moralistic tale that they wanted to take in this that I just couldn't get behind it. And I'm sure there's going to be some really heavy animal activist people that watch this video that are going to be shouting at me in the comment sections, but go ahead and argue with me. Why does the rights of these genetically created dinosaurs and their lives suddenly weigh so much heavier than the hundreds and thousands and possibly millions of innocent human lives that are outside doing everyday things that had nothing to fucking do with this genetic experiment? Tell me. But even beyond that, I mean, just the nonsensical nature of where this movie is trying to head, which is obviously some kind of a post-apocalyptic thing where dinosaurs have now plentifully taken over the world or the country, and now we are living coexisting with dinosaurs, and that's where the next movie is going to be, is just humans trying to survive alongside dinosaurs, kind of like Planet of the Apes. The problem with that is that there's like 24 dinosaurs that have been released, and they're released in one location. Aside from like maybe the pterodactyls that can fly their ass the fuck out of there, everything else is going to be located right where the fuck they were released. You're going to tell me that the US military, let's not even talk about the world's military, just the US military would not be capable of decimating those motherfuckers within a couple of hours of the end of this movie in order to preserve human life? Or you get option B, which is they capture all of them, put them right back in the cage, and you're back at square one despite all of the struggles that you just went through in this movie. So where exactly does that make sense for a progression of the story? They either go back in the cage and we're back at the same thing we were at the beginning of this film, or they all get fucking decimated, which you could have just let the fucking volcano do and save all these lives, all this trouble, and all this bullshit. So, alright, well, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in the spoilers, was my problems with the ending and the stupidity with the twist involving the clone girl. So that's pretty much all my thoughts on Fallen Kingdom, guys. What did you think of Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom? Are you a fan of this film? Do you like the direction that it took? Do you think this was better than Jurassic World? Do you think this is the second best movie since the original Jurassic Park? Please, God, tell me there's none of you out there that actually think this is better than the original Jurassic Park. But If you're one of those people, tell me down below in the comment sections. Please like and share this video. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. If you want to check out some of my social media links, check the video description below for my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter link, as well as Spreadshirt, which is I got some Cody Leach merchandise, like some t-shirts and shit like that, and my Patreon page, which is a great way to give back to this channel and help it grow, but get cool exclusive content for your eyes only if you decide to become a patron, such as the ability to choose requested reviews or top 5 videos or whatever topic you want to hear me scream about in front of the camera, and access to Blu-ray digital copy codes that I give away to my subscribers on my Patreon page every single week. So check that out, guys. And if you want to check out some more of my videos, you can check out a few more by clicking right over here.